Hi everyone, Healthy Kitchen Companion Mary Collette Rogers, here to talk about tips versus transformation. You may know already, but I've been a healthy eating coach for over 25 years now, so I get lots of opportunities to chat with people about their food lives. One place where I get a lot of insights is at health fairs where I exhibit. In fact, if you're one of our community of readers, there's a good chance we met at a health fair. Well, at one recent health fair, I heard all sorts of concerns. How do I make veggies more interesting? I need new ideas, or common variation on that is I want more variety and flavor. One woman talked about how she works the 10 to 6 shift, so she doesn't get home until 6:30 and then it's too late to get started. Another one said, "Oh, I eat out way too much," or "I'm just always on the go. When could I find time to cook?" A couple of people both mentioned I need faster ways to prep meals and better planning. And I love that last bit, and you'll see why soon. So, do you share any of these concerns? Maybe even two or three? Well, the interesting thing is that my email sign up sheet also asks people two quick questions. Number one, does the idea of meal making transformation make sense to you? And number two, are you interested in seeing a transformation in how you make meals and the kinds of meals that you make? What's interesting is that almost everyone is interested in meal making transformation, at least 90%. So we know that all is not well on the kitchen front. We'd love to do better. We know the barriers we face. Now, what do we do? This is where the idea of tips versus transformation comes in. I want to share with you one of the things that's hardest for me when people share the obstacles they face around healthy meal making and eating. I always wish I could prescribe a quick tip that would just make their problems go away. Kind of like how a doctor, you go in to see him and you've got pneumonia. He can prescribe, or he or she can prescribe an antibiotic, and in 24 hours, you're on the mend. Well, I'd love it for that person who says to me, "Well, I just don't like vegetables." I wish I could say, "Here, try this recipe for Chinese style green beans, and all your vegetable problems will disappear." Or, "Here, try broccoli greens. They're the latest cool vegetable everyone's eating now, and I'm sure they will turn you into a vegetable lover." Thing is, we love quick tips. Have you ever noticed how the cover of almost every popular magazine has at least one list article? Like 10 best spring fashions, 15 ways to get better sleep, 5 top foods to boost your energy. These kind of articles are perennial winners and editors love them. And the reason editors love them is because readers love them. And the reason we love them is because they promise quick fixes for the many things we'd like to improve in our lives. And I get it. Our lives are super busy and we need fast solutions. But for the most part, quick fixes don't remedy issues around healthy meal making. That's because our food and meal making and kitchen and eating shortcomings have roots that are fairly deep and tangled. Digging them out will take a full-blown shovel, not just a little hand trowel. That doesn't mean there aren't answers or solutions, not at all. There are solutions to just about every barrier I've heard around healthy meal making and eating. It's just that real solutions aren't quick tips, ideas that I can tell you in 1 minute or less, and that you can use to solve your problems in 3 minutes or less. Well, here's a good example and something I've heard many times. I want to eat more vegetables, but I buy some and then they end up rotting in the fridge. Does that sound familiar? I can tell you I've heard this lament lots of times. In fact, no less a prestigious publication than the Wall Street Journal has featured several articles on food waste. The most recent article started with the story of a couple, Jason and Mindy, whose Sunday night cleanup almost always involves throwing away spoiled fruits and vegetables. As Mindy shared in the story, sometimes it's food that I've forgotten about, or maybe we went out to dinner when we should have eaten at home instead. It just makes me feel horribly guilty to have to throw all that stuff out. The story continued describing how bags of dried up carrots, overripe avocados, ruined eggplants, and smushy bell peppers often end up in their trash can, despite ambitions to use them for healthy snacks or in new interesting recipes. As Mindy explained, you have all these great plans when your eyes see all those colors at the grocery store or farmer's market, and you say, "We'll eat that," and then we don't. Well, in the quick tip vein, the rest of this article happened to be about how refrigerator manufacturers are rushing to solve the food waste problem with ever fancier and more expensive refrigerators, like integrating a computer that tells you what's inside your fridge, or integrating specialized high-tech drawers that keep your vegetables longer, things like that. It would really be easy to get sucked into spending $6,000 or more on one of these because throwing out food week after week like Mindy and Jason, it really is painful. And you could envision how the fridge might even pay for itself. And it would be pretty quick and easy solution once you bought the thing and put it in your home. Well, I could give you a number of other quick tips and ones that were a lot cheaper to avoid rotting vegetables. Like, use up the most perishable vegetables first, because the less perishable ones will often last a week or two with no problem and they won't go bad on you. Or if smushy green peppers is a common problem, I could give you 5 easy ideas for using green peppers. But can you see that the fanciest fridge, the cleverest tips, or the quickest recipes probably won't solve anything really if there's a deeper root cause of your problem? Like Mindy and Jason seem to be stuck in an overbuying habit. Or maybe you just don't like vegetables like that person I mentioned earlier. Maybe you never learned to cook vegetables, so you really have no idea how to weave them into your meals on a regular basis. Maybe you don't know how to buy them in season so that they taste really good. And that means you end up with bland tasting produce that's not very inviting or appealing. Maybe you just never feel the desire, inspiration, or motivation to dig in the vegetable drawer and pull them out and use them every day. We'll just have them tomorrow, you say, which becomes the next day and the next, and then all of a sudden it's clean out the fridge Sunday and you're tossing them. Well, getting even more specific, let's look at recipes. Can you see that having a few green pepper recipes might help, but probably not if, say, the recipes get buried in your recipe heap, either your online one or the one that's on the counter, or if you don't have the other ingredients you need for a recipe, or you don't know how to adapt it for your taste, or you don't know how to cook peppers so they taste good, or your pan burns everything you cook, or you don't have any good seasonings in your pantry. The list could go on and on. The point is, quick tips and recipes are great, but they don't move the needle. They don't instigate an underlying shift in your perspective or your approach that will prevent you from getting into a bind in the first place. Quick tips and recipes may offer quick, one-time fixes, but they won't help you make life-changing transformations. Hence the title of this short audio, Tips versus Transformation. My hope and mission lies in sharing ways that you can really move the needle around meal making, to transform your meal making and turn it into a natural, normal part of your day that isn't stressful or distressing, that delivers you the kind of meals that you and your body really crave. Meal making that makes you feel happy with fresh, delightful flavors, and that offers an opportunity to be a little creative and have some fun with food. And can I tell you, there's one skill I can offer you that will make the biggest contribution to moving the needle and transforming your meals, and that's the think ahead and plan habit. Think about how that habit could have helped Mindy and Jason. If they went to the store or market with a plan, it would be a lot easier to ease off their overbuying habit. Think of the vegetable hater. We all know the value of small steps for changing unhelpful, lifelong habits. Well, when you take the time to plan, it gives you dedicated, stress-free time to figure out small steps to begin overcoming something like, say, negative vegetable feelings. You'd have time to focus on, say, 1 or 2 veggies that you can tolerate and gradually expand them by 1 a month or 2. Or you could focus on finding dishes that help mask the taste of vegetables so you could gradually adjust their flavors and their tastes. Or think about the person who has trouble drumming up the motivation to dig in the vegetable drawer and use what's there. Having a plan removes the need to drum up daily motivation, which can be hard at the end of a long day. A plan also provides structure and direction, so it's easier to execute a healthy meal instead of just settling for, say, a chicken and microwave potatoes. With something better planned, you're halfway there. The benefits of thinking ahead are countless. If you need more proof, why do you think every business plans practically every aspect of their operations? Because it's effective and very efficient. I can guarantee that you will save at least 3 times whatever amount of time you spend planning. I can guarantee that you'll enjoy meals that taste better or healthier, have more variety or more fun, and aren't the same old things. I can guarantee there are ways to work around getting home late, weaving more vegetables into your diet, saving money, and not eating out too much. The mystery is that the plan ahead habit, despite all these benefits, it's so absolutely sensible and not hard at all, and yet we can't seem to get in the habit of thinking ahead around mealtimes. Instead, we usually react in panic when mealtimes arrive. That's why I'm offering the workshop, The #1 Most Brilliant Idea for Happier and Healthier Meal Making. Because it's not just the idea of planning, but what you do with it. I've been writing about the wonders of meal planning for years and years. In fact, it's a big part of my book on how to take control of your kitchen. And in my healthy meal making classes, I'm always telling people, plan your meals. And every expert in the field gives you the same advice, especially those in the weight loss and diabetes areas. It has been proven that planned things are things that happen. And the corollary, of course, no plan, no progress. But despite the irrefutable logic of planning ahead, most people do indeed wait until about 4 or 5 o'clock to decide what to make for dinner. Hence, in my upcoming action-oriented hands-on workshop, we won't just talk about and explain the plan ahead habit, we'll actually do and experiment with it. We'll go through the mechanics of the process to begin with, because a good formula makes the process more automatic and easier. But then we'll go on and explore what barriers might be getting in the way of your adopting this amazing habit. Why isn't it already happening for you if it's so easy? And then we'll deal with writer's block, which I suspect is one of the biggest barriers people face. When you're staring at a blank plan and have no idea what to write in the blanks, what do? We got a neat handout for you called 12 Pathways to Meal Planning Inspiration. And best of all, you're going to leave each of the 4 classes with a plan. So you'll get to experience the joy of making a meal with a plan. Now, I say joy, and you may think that's a little over the top, but will you just wait and see? Especially if you're used to the chaos and aggravation of winging it at meal times, you just might experience joy when you make a planned meal. So I want to invite you to join me. This 4-class workshop is online, so no need to dress up or drive anywhere. We'll all get together in my online virtual classroom where I can see you and you can see me. And I think it could be a bit of fun. So often meal making is kind of isolating. You're all alone in the kitchen. This is a chance to inject a little community into this activity so you won't be lonely trying to come up with a meal plan. And after 4 weeks, the chances are really good that you will have formed a lifelong habit that will serve you for life with health-giving meals. So won't you join me? Just click on the link below this video or in the email I sent you. You'll find everything you need to know, including the very affordable pricing we have going on right now. Well, thanks everyone for listening in to learn about tips versus transformation. Can I encourage you to plan on and enjoy healthier, happier meals? And I hope to see you in my upcoming workshop. Bye now.